So in Genesis chapter number 2, let's look at the fact. Is that okay? Let's deal with the fact of Genesis 2 and compare that fact with our own reality so we can lay a very good foundation. Is that okay now? So let's look at the fact in Genesis 2. Fact number 1. In Genesis chapter number 2, Adam was the only existing human at the time God brought Eve. Fact 1. Adam was the only existing human at the time God brought Eve. Fact number 2. Adam was the only man Eve met. Okay? So Eve does not know what it means for a man to have another physical features that Adam didn't have. We don't know whether God created Adam with 6 packs. So she had no idea of the one with 1 pack. You understand what I'm saying? Or super pack. She doesn't know what it means. Maybe she would have said, let me try and choose. Okay, this one, the stomach. Okay, whatever. But she didn't have option. Okay. Fact number 3. Eve was the only woman Adam saw. Are you seeing that now? Eve was the only woman. God never brought 10 girls for Adam to check. He brought 1 for a reason. So that already debunks the idea of random sampling. Because from the beginning it was not so. Are you following what I'm saying here? That's why it's good for ladies to have communication among themselves so they can know the guys who are random sampling. They will hear that he has gone to sample that one. So now that he's now chatting you up every day, you prepare. Because from the beginning it was not so. Fact number 4. Both Adam and Eve never had X. No X. They were nobody's X. Okay? Are we getting something? Both of them, their heart has never been broken before. Because they've never been in love before. So it was a fresh start. It was the very beginning. It was a fresh what? Start. It was a fresh start. Fact number 5. Both of them had nothing they need to recover from. It was a clean slate. They had no family background they are trying to heal from. They have no confusing family situation they are trying to heal from. Adam had no past, he had to tell Eve. Eve too had no past, he had to tell Adam, that before we go further, let me tell you about my past. They both had no what? Past. Okay? What this simply means is that if you call Adam and Eve to counsel you about your relationship matter, they will be confused. Because they don't know what it means to be in your shoes. This boils to one thing. They are not the ideal image of marriage. It boils to that. It boils to that one fact. Okay? Do you understand that now? Eve met a man she wasn't praying for. She wasn't praying about. The time just came. She was made. And it appears that the day she was made, the first thing she was introduced to was the man. If you try it now, you will suffer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why? Because that's a foundation season. All that was necessary for them was to obey God and procreate. That was the essential duty. Obey God, don't touch what he has asked you not to touch, and then give birth. And that's why you see that the essential blessing upon them is be fruitful and multiply, replenish and fill the earth. That's about them. Okay? Is it simple enough? So they never had issues with choice or options. It was a perfect scenario. But now in our world, we have billions of women and billions of men. Okay? So tell the brother beside you, you are not Adam, you have to pray. Then tell the lady beside you, you are not Eve. There are many things you have to know before you know you're Adam. Am I being simple enough? Very, very simple. I just want to be simple. Those of you who have thought we are going to break tables, I will disappoint you. Because we will break tables. Are you with me now? Are you sure? So, for Eve and Adam, relationship books were not necessary. Because it was a clean slate. Okay? I want to say something quite strong. And by the way, in the real sense of thing, we should really judge, did that marriage work? Because it didn't take long for Adam to complain that the woman you gave me was the one who caused this problem. They got married for quite a number of years. Okay? After that, they gave birth to Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel. And one more child left. They had to give birth to another one when Cain was cursed. For that to start something new from that one. They were banished from the presence of God. And then they lived in a very strange way. So these guys had perfect situation. Unfortunately, for you and I, it is not so. There are already factors on ground that is not like theirs. You have genotype issues on ground. They never had. Okay? So there are many factors that are now on ground as we began to have complexity of human development. Societal transformation, family transformation, individual developmental process and all that. So there are factors now that surrounds the issue of marriage. These were two innocent guys. But the people that we have now, you really have to pray to God. There were many things both of them were not capable of. In the case of Adam and Eve, there was no domestic violence. Because they have no model of such. But in this case, there are domestic violence issues. So you now have to check. You need to know more than Adam to make the decision right. Because there are many factors. And if you don't know those factors, you will be dealt with by life. So we must understand that. Am I teaching you here? So you, in your case, you have a lot of imperfect situations on ground, and you have a lot of things to put together so as to make right decision. The concept of Christian relationship is the coming together of two individuals who are mature. Please put that down. The concept of biblical or Christian relationship is the coming together of two individuals who are mature in God And I've come to discern that God will have them do life together. Okay? Now, I want to stress the word maturity there. And the reason why that word needs to be stressed is because that is one word that is going to make a lot of difference even as you evolve in your marriage or in your relationship journey. Now, maturity is so important because when you get a thing at the season that it is not useful to fulfill its purpose, it will be abused. Now, I do not recommend, according to scriptures, I do not recommend the idea of boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. Every male-female relationship that is gearing towards marriage should be with purpose in view, not for fun. As a matter of fact, you cannot make that decision right if you don't know who you are. Hold on. I've been teaching. I want to talk to you, then I go back to teaching. Is that okay? Can I talk to you a bit? Can I talk to you a bit? Now, listen. If you find a spouse before you get your esteem right, when you find your esteem, you will discover that you have gotten undersized. If you successfully marry, you will hate yourself for that. So there are many discoveries you need to make before you now say this is it. Because what makes sense to you now may not make sense tomorrow. Many things are product of your development and maturity. Are you seeing that now? So you must understand that some things somebody wants to marry a girl and the guy has been broke, he's been going through a lot of things, suffering, and he said, this girl is daughter of a prof. He said, daughter of a prof, this is my life is going to change. The guy he didn't know that somewhere in his journey, God too plans a prosperity package for him. He will be blessed and he will have. As money start coming, he just start getting angry. I've made a wrong decision. Listen to what I'm saying. You cannot make the choice of who to marry based on external features. Are you following what I'm saying? In fact, somebody said anyone who does that is like a man buying a house because of the paint. How do you settle to buy a house and say because this house, they painted it yellow? Is that not what you say when you say I want to marry a yellow girl? Are you following what I'm saying there? So how come when I say black? Just the color. Melanin or the absence of it. What if this girl is yellow? When I see yellow girl, something used to do me. That thing that is doing you is actually sense deficiency syndrome. SDS. Do you understand what I'm saying? So say, I like this house because it has balcony. Front. I'm not the one that said it. I said someone said. Because when life begins to happen, all those things won't matter. One thing will matter, that there's compatibility in purpose, there's agreement, and then there's peace. There are many discoveries you must have made before you can really identify who you do life with. If you get a spouse before you know who you are, you have gotten a wrong person. How do you call for an helper when you have nothing doing? The helper will be stranded. And many girls are confused as touching the guys they are dating because they don't know what to help him with. He doesn't have a direction. And that's the kind of man that God said, this man. Somebody said, this man. This man. This man. It is not good for the man to be alone. Who is the man? The man that God planted in his presence. The man that God gave an assignment to. Is that okay now? The man that God has carried the blessing of the Lord. Are you seeing that now? So he's already rooted and planted in God. He's already rooted and planted in God. That is the kind of man that should not be alone.